Hello there. Welcome back to Dis-Cember 2023. I'm Scotty. You're not. Today we are looking at You Lucky Dog. Now, this is another day while I'm doing 2 reviews. Out of the 4 days that I'm doing it this way, it's because I want to get as much as I can towards the end of this month. So, it's doubling my workload, but you know what? It works. I have reviewed this before, which is kind of why I'm doubling with ones I haven't done before, to kind of balance these ones. But, excuse me. You Lucky Dog came out in 1998. It stars Kirk Cameron of Wonder Years of Growing Pains. Excuse me. Chelsea Noble, who was his wife, still is his wife, I guess. James Avery, you may know as Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Christine Cavanaugh, the voice of Chucky and Dexter, is in this, and boy, you could tell it's her, the voice, because the first scene, she's yelling at Jack, and she just, like, this is Dexter yelling at her. It sounds like Dexter yelling at her. There's also Birdie and those Ronald McDonald cartoon tapes. You could get those tapes, those VHS tapes from McDonald's. The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald. Remember those? I've been wanting to talk about those. They're very weird. But yeah, Jack is a dog therapist. See, when he was a kid, when he was younger, he had the ability to communicate with dogs. And he hasn't really been able to do that since he was 14, but he became a dog therapist to make money, I guess. It's a scam, really, but, you know. But upon meeting this guy, Mr. Windsor, who brings his dog Lucky in, he's able to have this connection with Lucky. And then he finds out that Mr. Windsor has passed away, and Lucky has inherited everything, with Jack being the payee of sorts, the one in charge of the dog. Why Calvin Bridges, the butler, the chauffeur, whatever, wouldn't be the one to do it, I don't know. But apparently Mr. Windsor saw something in Jack from that 5 minutes he was there. You know. So a couple things caught my eye in this. You know, Disney Channel original movies were usually about teenagers or kids, right? A lot of them. Xenon, Brink, Hounded, Don't Look Under the Bed, High School Musical, Minuteman, all about teenagers or kids, right? This is the one that stands out among all of the Disney Channel original movies that I think it may actually be the only one that's focused on adults. I mean, the concept, there's a kid in the movie, but she's not one of the main characters. She's the daughter of Chelsea Noble's character, the lawyer. It's weird. You know, I never thought about this till watching it this time. The other one is that, boy, it's very obvious what happened to Mr. Windsor. I mean, really. Like, you know, because Jack gets from Lucky, that there's some kind of problem with 3 people that are in your house, right? And then the next time that you know, this comes back, when it comes back to this, Mr. Windsor's dead. And Jack has inherited the dog. The dog has inherited everything, and Jack is taking care of the dog in the house and the finances and everything. It's painfully obvious, like, you know, watching this again, like, yeah, it's very, very obvious that someone killed Mr. Windsor. That he just died like that, but he's been dealing with 3 people. I never caught the 3 people thing before. I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of obvious, you know. And then what do we see? His 3 heirs in the room. Right, you have the great Taylor Negron, rest in peace. He gets a chair or a couch or something. The niece or whatever she is, who I used to think was Anna Gasteyer from SNL, but it's not. She gets something like a dress or something, and then Lyle John Delancey, Q from Star Trek, gets nothing. The dog gets everything. He thinks he gets the money, but the dog gets everything. And it's quite obvious that these were the three that Jack was referring to. So there's something, And so watching this again, the gimmick is overdone. And the gimmick is that Jack not only can understand what the dog is talking about, what the dog wants. If the dog gets too excited, he becomes the dog. Like he's rooting around on all fours and barking at people, and digging holes and all that stuff. And that's fun to show off a couple times. It happens 5 times in this movie. 4 where it gets out of control. 1 where it's really needed at the end of the movie, but it happens way too much. Right? And I kind of like the lawyer's thing here, where he said, "Oh, I want 30%, which is 30% of their money." But then, when he finds out how crazy Jack is, he ups it to 50. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because now he knows, oh, this guy's a loon. I'm gonna win, so I want more money if I'm gonna win this. And I was surprised at how fast it does get to the courtroom. I was like, really? We're already here? Okay, but. Yeah, Kirk Cameron is good in this role. It's a normal sized role, Kirk Cameron in the later seasons of Growing Pains. I'm so negative again. Of Growing Pains changed the way his character was because he found God, Christianity, and so he didn't want to be portrayed as a hooligan. So his character became a teacher, which I never got because he was a troublemaker, but now he became a teacher, and it just sort of went in a different direction. He didn't want to do anything. There's rumors that he got his co-star that was supposed to be his future wife on the show fired because she was a Playboy. She was in Playboy. Rumors. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff swirling around. I'm not confirming anything, but But here, his wife is his love interest, which is not always the case. Everybody says, "Oh, every movie." The movie Fireproof. I don't think she's his wife in that movie. I think it's a different actress playing the wife, but it is, it's one of those Christian movies that I didn't know it was until my grandma rented it, and I was sitting there going, oh, it's not a bad movie, but it's just not. I don't want to be harped at for an hour and a half about God. You know what I mean? Those aren't my kind of movies. But this is more mainstream. This is before he went into all those kind of movies. I remember there was a thing we watched in school with Kirk Cameron. It was sort of, I don't know if it was God thing, because they don't the whole thing about God in school or whatever. But I don't know. Anyway, James Avery, of course, is pretty good. Rest in peace, of course. But But yeah, they do use the gimmick way too much. Like, they first show it to us the first night he's staying at the house. He freaks out, and he starts digging holes, and he says stuff to the maids, and he freaks out. And then, again, he does it again at the, when they're in the mall, which that's a lost thing now. You see things from the mall. In the mall, you smell Chinese food and they freak out. No one else really notices. Like, whoa, they must be hungry, the little girl says. And then again, I guess it is only 4 times that it happens, I guess. I thought it was one more. Because then when when they're moving stuff in, he goes off on on the female relation, his niece or something, and then Mr. Windsor's niece, and then in the house, when they try to break into the house to tranquilize the dog and take him away, All because they didn't want to pay 30% of their money to the lawyer. What was their plan going to be after they trained the dog and they kidnapped him? Great. And then what? And then it happens again. And then they use it in the courtroom, which is the only time I think it really works. You know, you don't need to show it a couple times, but they clearly, you know, wrote the movie around this gimmick, is what it seems like. They do it 5 different times. You know, I'm just saying. It's not a terrible thing. I still like this movie. But I really noticed this time, they really like to, you know, use that gimmick. As a result, though, there is not a lot of character development on Jack's side, really, because he's being turned into a dog every time. There's nothing really there. He just ends up accepting he can talk to this dog and living his life with this dog. There's no real explanation for why, after all these years, since he was 14, he had known to do this with a dog, and now this dog, he has this random dog he has a connection with. To never explain. Excuse me. It's 8, so I have a little indigestion going on. There's nothing that explained at all. It just, you know. And the whole reveal, it's obvious there was something. We keep seeing Lucky's memory. Why we see it, I don't know, because it's not shown through Jack yet. But we see the memory. He Mr. Windsor go out. He has to go outside, and it's raining, it's cold, whatever, and Mr. Windsor falls to his side, and so Lucky seems to blame himself. But then, when we're at the trial, we see Lyle putting Alka-Seltzer in a cup, in a glass, and that's when Lucky sees it, and he happens to be connected to Jack at that point, and Jack freaks out. What'd you do with the cup, Lyle? Huh? Lucky might not know what you put in that cup, but I did. But I do. You poisoned him, didn't you? It was murder. Now, what I've always assumed that the other two didn't know about it. The way they react makes it seem like they didn't know about it. Sure, the lawyer didn't. But I'm never 100% sure on that. He pulls out a gun and starts... Again, no. What is the plan here? He pulls out a gun and they're all just going to back away and walk out? How far would you get? These guys are idiots. No wonder they didn't get any inheritance. The fire shot, and I think the dog gets shot, but no, he gets in the ear. Why a shot to the ear made the dog fall down? I don't know. It's got to be dramatic, I guess. I do like the shopping spree thing, where the dog goes on a shopping spree, buys a bunch of chew toys and a bunch of couches. They replace all the marble floors with AstroTurf, and the relation, the female relation, the niece. She freaks out. What? That marble would come from blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but you try running on it with your paws, you know, slipping, especially when you turn the corner, you know, thing. So, yeah, it's fun to see how the house has changed. And they do actually do what a dog, you know, would do. All this stuff that they bought, and he wants to play around with a sock. That's a dog for you. My mom could buy her dog or their dog a bunch of stuff, and he wants to just roll around toys. That's the same thing with kids, though, too. When my son was little, like a baby, like maybe 1 or 2, like we had these toys for him to play with, and he's just playing with my mom's serving spoons, you know, that sort of thing, you know. But that's how it works. This was a fun watch to go back and watch again. This was fun to see again. I'm gonna give it a pretty good. For the only Disney Channel version of the movie to not, you know, be about teenagers or kids. I think it works. I think a kid could watch this, and that's probably why they put so much of, oh, you know, there's no kids in this. There's one kid, but she's gonna make character. Let's just have the guy turn into a dog a lot. Maybe that's why the gimmick was so much in this. But watching it myself as an adult, I can see that this is, I don't know, maybe for an adult watcher like myself, it's like, okay, I get the gimmick, but you're kind of, you know, it's a little too much. Like I said, they clearly had this gimmick and wrote the movie around it. And Bernice, despite having known Jack for a long time, she even knows about his abilities, disappears at the beginning, shows up at the trial, and then is gone again. I don't know. Yeah, this was fun to go back and watch. So, what are your thoughts on You Lucky Dog? Leave no comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.